talk about it. Because I know folks said we tried the quiet route. Now it's about bringing noise and putting a spotlight and putting attention on it.
You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about.
Stephen A. Smith just lit the fire. He claims the WNBA tried to buy his silence over the Brittney Griner situation. If that's even halfway true, it's not just a minor scandal, it's a ticking time bomb that could rock the entire league. This isn't your average drama. This is the kind of controversy that questions the very integrity of the WNBA.
There was resentment towards her, and here's why I said it was stupid. Because when she came into the WNBA, for 22 plus years, they had been flying commercials. They were begging for chartered flights. She arrives there, and 2 weeks later, they got chartered flights. She automatically and instantaneously improved the conditions. Attendance is still lagging. WNBA is still losing money compared to what you would hope it would earn, but clearly things are on an upward trending trajectory. It's improving, and she has everything to do with it. Attendance for Indiana Fever games, are you kidding me? WNBA draft, games on ABC, ESPN, television ratings. She's directly responsible. And people were resenting her for it, like she was the cause of the problems that they had for the lack of recognition. No, she just happened to be born white. That's it. Caitlin Clark hasn't spoken against anybody. She hasn't assisted in denying anybody else the privileges they deserve. If anything, she's tried to provide assistance. A rising tide lifts all boats. She's trying to be the rising tide that lifts the boats. And there were sisters resentful of her. Be resentful of the system. Be resentful of the folks, primarily the white folks, who basically disenfranchised y'all all of these years before she came along, who denied you the acclaim and the allure and the profits you richly deserved. But you don't take that out on Caitlin Clark. Not her. She's the one that assists you.
Stephen A. Smith has once again turned the spotlight onto the WNBA. And this time, the storm he's circling could be the biggest yet. Because for years, fans have whispered, argued, and speculated online about controversies surrounding Brittney Griner, about favoritism inside the league, about questionable fouls, about off-court drama, and about how far the WNBA will go to protect certain stars. But those whispers have mostly stayed in comment sections and niche now, because once Stephen steps into a conversation, it doesn't stay small. It doesn't stay quiet, it explodes. And that's exactly what has the league nervous. Stephen A. isn't just another sports analyst. He's the most powerful voice in sports media. The guy who can say one sentence and instantly create a nationwide debate. The guy whose clips get shared across ESPN podcasts, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter within minutes. The guy who can make sponsors nervous enough to pick up the phone and call the league office demanding answers. And that's why whenever his focus shifts to the WNBA, chaos follows. We've seen it before when Caitlin Clark became the target of veteran frustration. Stephen A. didn't bite his tongue. He called it exactly how fans saw it, saying jealousy, bitterness, and flat-out bullying were getting in the way of the game. And that single take spread like wildfire, with millions of views pouring in, NBA stars weighing in, fans clashing in heated debates, and the WNBA once again being defined not by highlights or growth, but by controversy. And it wasn't the first time. Late in 2023, when Sue Bird, a legend and face of women's basketball, tried to hype up the league's playoff ratings, saying the numbers were proof of growth, Stephen A. shut it down instantly, calling her comments disgusting and saying the league needed to stop pretending its numbers were better than they really were. That clash didn't just trend, it dominated the sports news cycle for days, proving that even the most respected voices in the WNBA weren't safe from his criticism, and showing everyone how much power Stephen A. holds when he turns his attention on the league. And now, with Brittney Griner back at the center of heated discussions, the thought of Stephen A. taking aim directly at her controversies is enough to send shockwaves through the entire organization. Griner has been one of the most polarizing figures in the WNBA. Her dominance on the court, her size, her physicality, her emotional moments, her clashes with opponents, all of it has kept her name trending for years. And while the league has tried to bury or spin certain viral incidents, fans never let them die. They resurface again and again, in comment sections, in fan debates, in highlight reels, in every clip that goes viral on social media. The league has been able to survive those flare-ups so far. But if Stephen A decides to drag them into the mainstream conversation, it wouldn't just be another bad headline. It would be a full-on scandal. The kind of situation that no PR team could control, the kind of controversy that could drag sponsors, executives, and even the NBA itself into the fire. And that's just one layer of the nightmare. Behind the scenes, the WNBA is already cracking. Players are frustrated, and they've stopped keeping quiet about it. At All-Star Weekend, instead of just celebrating the game, players staged a protest, walking out in shirts that read, "Pay us what you owe us," making it clear they're sick of the pay gap and tired of being disrespected by the league. Leaders like Brittney Stewart and Natasha Cloud torched the league's contract offers, calling them flat-out insulting. And insiders say a lockout could be coming as soon as 2026 if things don't change. That means the league isn't just fighting online controversies, it's fighting its own players, its own stars, the very people that fans pay to see. And that internal conflict is dangerous. Add in the constant accusations of favoritism, the complaints about discipline being inconsistent, the perception that certain stars like Griner are untouchable no matter what, and you start to see the image of a league that looks less like it's growing and more like it's barely holding itself together. Sponsors who invested millions expecting clean, positive momentum are now being served headline after headline filled with drama. And investors don't like drama. They don't like instability. They don't like uncertainty. They came for growth, and what they're seeing instead is chaos. Fans, too, are split. Some defend the league, some say the criticism is unfair, but others accuse it of being broken, corrupt, and more interested in protecting its image than its players. And through it all, one name keeps coming up again and again: Brittney Griner. No matter what the story is, her name is there, tied to debates, tied to criticism, tied to controversy. And now, Stephen A. Smith, the man who has the power to take a fan rumor and turn it into a national headline, is circling the conversation. That's why this moment feels so explosive, because Stephen A. doesn't even need to break news. He just needs to talk. One quick line on First Take, one teaser on his podcast, one viral clip on YouTube, and the conversation instantly shifts. The controversy blows up bigger. The league's control slips further away, and the pressure multiplies. He's already teased it before, dropping subtle hints like, "The truth always comes out." And fans know exactly what he means. They know he's holding back, waiting for the perfect moment, watching the league stumble, and preparing to connect the dots when the time is right. If that moment ever comes, if Stephen A. ever decides to stop hinting and start laying everything out, it won't just be another messy week for the WNBA. It could be the biggest scandal in the league's history, one that questions its integrity, one that drags the NBA and Adam Silver into the mess, one that no sponsor or executive can spin away. And here's the reality. The WNBA is walking on glass right now. Every week feels like another risk, another viral moment waiting to happen, another controversy ready to explode. The players are restless, the sponsors are uneasy, the fans are divided, and the image the league has been trying to protect for years is starting to crack in full view of the public. And the most dangerous piece of it all is Stephen A. Smith, because he doesn't just have the microphone, he has the audience, the credibility, and the fearlessness to say what others won't. He knows the stakes, he knows the pressure, he knows how quickly a single clip can dominate the news cycle. And that's why his silence is so terrifying, because silence isn't the end, it's the warning. It's the calm before the storm. And once that storm breaks, once Stephen A. decides to go all in, it won't just be headlines, it won't just be debates. It will be a full-blown crisis that could redefine the future of the WNBA. About clout. This isn't about views. This is about survival. And right now, the league is holding its breath, hoping Stephen A. never decides to pull the trigger. Because if he does, the WNBA may find itself in the middle of a storm it cannot survive.